So I found an SCP game on Steam that was completely free, and it said it was inspired by SCP Secret Lab, which is one of my favourite online SCP games that there is. I've played it a lot with my friends, we have a lot of fun on there. It's brilliant, it's a really great game. This, however, isn't. It's a single player, it's basically Containment Breach, the original Containment Breach, but it's awful. There's definitely had some effort put into it, and I give the devs, like, they've done well, ish, and it is early access. I think it was beta still, so it's definitely not done, but I saw it, downloaded it, booted it up, and played through a couple times, and I started recording to just tell you how bad it is. So we're just gonna hop into a safe game, a new one, and I'm just gonna show you what I mean. Like, look at the character model. This was a game, I think it was from last year or even this year, and with a stretch texture over the guy. It's not really got any 3D graphics on there, stuff like that, and you just look at it and go, it's very plain, it's very, like, there's nothing here, and it is pretty much just a copy of Containment Breach. The lighting is awful, we'll get to that in a bit, and instead of space it's B, because you've got the weakest angles in the world. They haven't even said anything. I think the devs for this are Russian, because there was a readout on the a call out on the system radio earlier in the game, or later in the game, sorry, and the guy sounded Russian, so this is Containment Breach, but instead you put in 096's chamber. And there's a reason they don't do that in the original Containment Breach, because it's quite a hard SCP to tackle. Like, none of them have any dialogue, and you can see here, like, it's supposed to be a very well lit facility, and the lighting is just all off. It is all wrong. We're in the game now, and you'll see in a minute what I mean. Like, here, it's supposed to be a well lit facility, and you can barely see anything. And I think this is because all the walls are just white and bland. There's nothing to them, they don't have textures, there's nothing there. And the render distance is atrocious. You can see there it's just moving, but I shouldn't be able to see that at all. I shouldn't have to look at a big black wall, not only leaving in front of me, but behind me as well. And that's just, there's no way to change that either, or the brightness or anything, because if I go into settings, mouse and sound, right, the quality, it doesn't even have a thing saying quality, the aspect ratio, whether it's full screen or not, use VSync, and that is it. Those are all the settings that you have. Go to main menu, there's nothing there, it doesn't change there either. There's no other settings at all. And also, you blink way too often. Like, it's half the time that it takes in Containment Breach, the original game from, what, like 10 years ago now? 8 years ago? And it took twice as long because you want to see the screen, for as long as possible before blinking. And I admit it's not very realistic, and this one is, but then again, it's a game about creatures being contained in a government facility. So, realism isn't exactly what we're going for here. You don't even have a stamina bar in this either, which is just very poor. You even had that in Secret Lab. So you can see here, like, the facility was just random, which is what secret lab was and what containment breach was, but it doesn't. Just everything is very bland. There's nothing here. There's nothing to do. Even in here, like, the ceiling is so low, and there are lights here, and there's no even, like, white for the actual light itself, but behind it there's big spots. These rooms have texture, but they're so low res that they may as well just have nothing anyway. The walls have shoddily been put together, and I've dabbled in Unity myself, and I know it's not easy, but for a game like this, that looks, on the Steam page at least, pretty good. But I had stuff behind me, so how the hell did he kill me? I'm just going to start another new game here, just to know that it's like... No, not... Look at its hands, though, and its shoes. You see a body, and then... Oh no, everything's gone, and it is just thrown out the window. There's no crouching, nothing. Go to the main menu real quick, just to show you, like... I mean, just look at it. It's... Again, it's just bland. There's nothing there. There's no real exploration. There's not even, like, any lockers or anything for a lot of it. You have to get lucky to find those. They're not in every single room, like in most other SCP games. And I played a few... I played the Containment Breach, the original one, and the Unity remake. Like, look at that. I can't even be that far away from it, and it's just consumed in the darkness. Like, here, you've got this bigger light, which is an industrial light, you know, beaming down, and you've got multiple of them as well, and it's still the worst lit game I've ever seen. Like, you can get away with it, but there's no way to change your brightness or anything, or the gamma, or anything at all. You can't even change your field of view, so if you've got a curved monitor or a huge monitor, then you just gotta deal with it. Curved ones, actually, it's good to have a wider field of view. You also walk way too slow in this. But that's made up for because you can never stop running. It also has a... What the hell? It's got a bit of a performance issue as well. Like, look at these walls. There's nothing there. There's not even any things put on them to make them look interesting. There's no texture. There's nothing. They look like just prefabbed walls. There's a thing clipping through the wall there. Even that, it looks just like a prefab model that hasn't had a texture put on it yet. That clips through the wall. It just seems lazy, even, like, and it's also really damn quiet. I've turned it up to max now, and it's... You can barely hear the footsteps still. The door sounds are fine. I've also not seen a keycard yet in this entire game. So, you know, if they put a bit more... Like here, for example, if they put a bit more effort in and just properly curved it, or made something curved, fiddled around so it actually looked more like a game from 2020 and not one from, you know, 10 years ago. Not even that. I can't even call it that. These don't line up properly. That goes way more over than that does. Like, if you're making an FCP game these days, you have to make sure it's perfect, because they're very old, a lot of them, and the community is still amazing. I'm on the official FCP subreddit. Brilliant on there, fan art, things like that, even fan games like this one. Here's another example. I found this room on my second playthrough. I mean, what's that? Is that one of the guards? Is that just a thing? I don't know, because it's too, like, dark and low res as well. The textures are very stretched. Nothing, just... It all looks blurred. Oh, yeah, look, not even there. I didn't even pick it up. With a bit more work, that game could be amazing. It could be really, really good, and I have high hopes that it does change round. And just for comparison, I'm going to boot up Secret Lab and just show you how that looks. Like, just look at this. Everything's got textures, everything looks nice. Even the menu has, like, this animation. It's got music to it, you know, all this stuff. Okay. It's even got like this loading thing, and it's based on containment breach. So in any minute now it'll. There we go. It's even got like a waiting for players thing, 4-star. Like, everything has a nice texture to it, alright? Everything's nice, loud. You can definitely hear everything. It's got some nice stuff. It's not the brightest of places, but it's well lit. And you can see that when I reach the end of the corridor, it more fades out because it's darker, not this big wall of just inky blackness that comes out of nowhere and consumes it. It's more natural this way. The door animations are much nicer. You can see a lot of the stuff. Even like this, you can see all of this now.
Will occur in T-15 minutes. All biological substances must be removed in order to avoid destruction.
And I can change the brightness, all of that, mouse sensitivity, everything like that, mouse volume, sound effects, voice chat, everything like that can be changed. I didn't realise you can change your field of view in this either, but just to demonstrate, look at the textures on this. It's got nice things. It's not just a plain white block here. It's got what looks to be a ventilation fan. Don't know, it doesn't matter. It's just there and it looks much better. In between them isn't just a solid wall, it's a light. It is an actual physical thing in the world. And like under the pipes are a nice maybe maintenance hatch. Don't know, doesn't matter. It's there for aesthetic and it looks good. Down at the bottom we've got these little panels, and down below we've got these, a vent hatch and a light, and it's the same throughout, but moreover it looks better. Even got security cams. They'd probably never get used, but you know, or you can't use them as a D class, but you know, they look aesthetically pleasing. It's much better, more enjoyable. This has red ambience to it. It's got better textures all round. The floor's much nicer. In fact, in the other game, that's probably one of the only things that looks half decent. You know, they're very clear. Everything's clear here. The doors are nice. Even over here isn't just a white wall. It's a window to a place that you can never get to. But it doesn't matter. It means that there's something there to look at. There's more world building going on around you. And this is a mainly multiplayer game and there's no real story behind it. It's more a go and have fun with your mates kind of game. But Containment Breach, even Containment Breach, which is a very old game, looks better than the other one. Like this room, it's not the same brightness as out here, right? And when I close the door, look at that, the light actually, you know, it's got some ambience to it. It makes it feel more immersive. And this is a different kind of room. We've got a different wall thing here. We've got, you know, different security cameras that are placed in different ways. They got actual shadows, you know, and a PA system. The walls are completely different on either side. And yeah, they are the same white kind of derelict walls, but they are still different to that which is out here. This game doesn't have a sprint meter either.
Light containment zone overall decontamination in T-minus 10 minutes.
But that's because when you get injured, your sprint goes down. I'm guessing that will happen in the other game as well. But the fact that you've got a blinkometer straight, like from the get-go, is just normally in these games only when 079, I think it is, shows up, you start blinking more. Like even this room, it's got a lower ceiling than the other rooms. It's got one light and it's still better lit than the entire of the other game. And everywhere uses the same doors, obviously, which is much nicer than the other just black block with writing on it from the other game. And look, it's got actual lighting features. 173, sorry. That's what I meant earlier when with the blinking one. And this one doesn't have some weird random robot in it either. Doesn't have anything in it right now. But even like this room, is much nicer. It's got a different, slightly different texture to the walls. It's got more of a bricky kind of feeling. And like, you come back out here and it's not a gold stripe under this white thing here. It's a big black wall, but even that's got texture to it, and you can see it there, and the light actually shines off of it properly, as it should. And you can see where I'm coming from when I say that they need to fix not only the textures but the lighting, the sounds, the settings, overall most of the game when they're trying to base it on this game. They got a lot to live up to, and with a bit of work I think that they can produce something that looks good, that reacts well, that you know, plays well, controls well, things like that. Could be a lot better than what they've done already. Even here, like, there's no toilet facilities, toilet corridors that look like this in the other game that I've come across so far. Even the buttons in this game are much nicer. They actually have a closed, open and moving symbol. The office actually has key cards in it, so you can get to places. And it's got a different ceiling texture, different thing. It's got different wall textures. You know, it's got this big bar up top. The lockers, you know, first aid kit, syringe.
Decontamination in T-minus 5 minutes.
I'm probably gonna die, but that doesn't matter because, like, it just really doesn't. Even like in here is different to any other room that we've been in so far. Like, the shelves have stuff that you're not allowed to interact with and that look a bit blocky. But most of the time when you're playing this, it's very fast paced. You're being chased by your friend or some random person online. You've got to get in here, put your keycard down, get out. So the fact that those small things don't really have a realistic effect to them, and the fact that they're there anyway is just enough to go like, there's actual things here, abandoned things, and they're not just placed straight either. You know, they're placed wonky, as if a person has put them there, and not a snap grid. You know. Even like this room, I saw this room in the other game, and it was just terrible. The lighting in there was completely pitch black, pretty much. You could just see the outlines of the plants, and it was much closer, making you feel more claustrophobic and just contained in this facility, which is a good thing in this sort of game. But the fact that you couldn't see in at all, as if this was, you know, it's supposed to be a plant thing, a greenhouse kind of place, and look, it looks different, kind of, to out here, where it's, yeah, just a blank ceiling, but even the lighting, the textures, everything looks very nice. It's pleasing to look at, it's nice to look at. This has reflections that are realistic on there. So when I say that that game has a lot of work to do, I really do mean it, and I really do think that with a bit more effort, that nukalypse, which is a terrible name by the way, nukalypse, it could really become a great game, but it is pretty much just Containment Breach, which is completely free, amazing, polished, you know, and it's been out for years, and it's much better than that game, so why would you not just play that? The next SCP game, free SCP game, I've got lined up is called SCP-022. So, now this one also looked very good. As you can see already, parameters, that's options. Advanced video audio, no idea what that means. English, there we go. That hasn't changed anything. Yes. Oh, there we go. So we can already see, like, this is way better. Resolution, VSync, frame rate limit, gamma, and that. Everything's right and ready to go. I think start. Even this scene alone is better than the entire nukalypse game so far. And I'd like to say that both this and nukalypse are early access still. This looks much nicer, and I get that this is also quite a dark room, but it is supposed to be a dimly lit, very run-down, derelict room. The animations are a bit odd. That's a good thing. That's a very good feature. Just although I don't like the whole, like, you have to start the game from scratch every time you do it. There should be a menu that comes up going load last save or load checkpoint or anything like that. That is not diegetically real. Okay. Will this kill me as well? The fact that you don't have any real instruction from the start either. That had a body in it a minute ago, so... No. Alright, no. Even like this is a much better start screen than nukalypse. It's got music, everything is interactable, you know, like the buttons on the menu are much nicer as well. Right, so that's where I've just come from. Nothing else really here. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. Oxygen tank, it looks heavy. Wait a minute. Am I supposed to... Ooh, I have like... Right, now... Fire. Set it on fire. Brilliant. This should be absolutely fine to get into now. Right, I should be able to... Yeah, that's fine. I can leave now. And that's it. This is literally the end of the game right here. Really? You think you're going to escape? Oh no, no. Of course not. It would be great if it ended there and I could escape, go out into the world, but no. The game had other ideas, of course it did. Because SCP games aren't meant to be easy. Or beatable. In any manner. God, I hate this game so goddamn much. Or maybe not. It looks really, really good. It's got actual textures on the walls. The rooms look good. That is absolutely terrifying. Are the stairs going up or are they going down? There you go. Have that one. Violent gore, multiplayer, early access, and horror. The violence and the gore. The violence I can see with the guns and the SCP and stuff. Gore. I can actually see that as well. Multiplayer. I hope there's an actual multiplayer thing, because one of the tags for nukalypse was multiplayer, and it's a completely single-player game. So, you know, that's kind of disappointing. Pandemic, which this looks really good. It looks amazing, actually. Like, the textures and everything look really, really good. The graphics overall just look much better than any other SCP game, apart from maybe the Unity one, the Unity Containment Breach. That's soon, apparently. So the private alpha is starting soon, March 15th. That's already happened. I don't think there's anything else to say really about the SCP games. That's been it. It's been an hour of recording, but I think I'm going to add some stuff, cut some stuff out, and it should be just under an hour. Other than that, thanks for watching. If you want me to do more game reviews, then I'll do them do more in the future. Obviously, tell me. You can reach me on Instagram, which I'll leave a link in the description. Message me on there, Twitter, even just leaving a comment in the comment section. That's it from me. I'm gonna go and I don't know, not play I'm gonna uninstall nukalypse. It's so bad. And I'm not even trying to be too harsh on the devs, by the way, for that. They clearly worked somewhat hard on that game, and when it's finished, it could potentially be amazing. They just need to add textures, fix the lighting, fix the blinking, fix the animations, fix the jumping, fix the settings so you can actually change the brightness. Because that would be much better than just... If you make it too bright, it ruins the immersivity. Make it too dark, nobody wants to play it because you can't see anything. If you don't have that option to change the brightness, it completely ruins it. That's it from me. I'm signing off now. Goodbye.